Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, and probably my YouTube is going to start playing here real quickly because I was watching YouTube earlier. Oh no, I'm lucky; it's still on mute. I was assuming it would pop up unmuted, so I just said all that rambling for nothing. Hey, what's up? It's me, and with me I got Tuesday, who is driving in his car from the river,
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
and we got Ross Crow.
Good evening, everyone.
And I guess we're going to be talking about some battle parts today. I got to finish the last minute raid stuff. What was everybody's thoughts on the raid? I know I was pretty happy with it. Ross?
Yeah, the raid went relatively well, smooth for me. I was very happy with what how my build worked out and the performance. So I was happy with the overall condition of the raid. But then again, I was actually fully prepared for it. I went in with a fully ranked, fully built fleet, and so it did go well, you know.
Yeah, mine did also. It was actually nice to see the eradicators actually do some work, and it felt like a good fleet for once. The previous raid was pretty disheartening. Where you really need the five, to get all your buffs and everything. But this raid went exceptionally well. It was enjoyable for me. I like the targets and performance. I didn't have hardly any issues at all. So I give this one a thumbs up.
Cool. It's really weird watching your camera while you're doing this because like we get little flashes of stuff here and there, and I'm like, I'm not sure what we're looking at any given time.
There we go. I guess we could turn it off.
No, you're fine. I was just like, what is that? All right, let's go ahead and jump into the slides and we get some screen sharing. We're also going to go over wrong thinker things here in a little bit too, because there was some interesting map on there that I got a good kick out of myself. But all right, so let me put me on present. And Ross, take it away. You're our main guy tonight, buddy.
Okay, what we have here is world map target transition. The skirmish targets are taking over as the world map uranium targets. So the targets from each tier are available. The level 68 target can be blitzed. And then, so we did know it was coming. So that's going to still change. Now, as far as I'm aware, we're still going to have the SSRBs on the map. So that's not going to be any different. And then in February, the Forsaken mission, the cycles, they go the same. They start Wednesday to Tuesday. Just through the month is the same as they have always in the past.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they suddenly started like giving us a time cycle for the Forsaken mission because it's like always the same, But I don't know, whatever.
But it possibly now it could maybe change, and maybe that's why they're giving it to us. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would just think like we have 3 FMs almost every month. If we're gonna have a fourth one, we'll have a 4th FM this month. That's all I have to do. But whatever.
Right.
All right. Then we got the end of the breach campaign.
Now, the entry breach campaign it begins Wednesday the 20th, and it ends the 27th. And this one's for take your Bat Ray or your Razor Tail fleets to claim the Breacher Dreadnought along with the powerful weapons and VXP tokens. I'd like to change that and say take your Bat Ray if it's fully ranked and maxed to the hilt, and go ahead and do it. If you are stuck with the Razor Tail, then I would skip this one. I attempted this with the Razor Tail, and I got to tell you it's just not worth it. The damage it's too high. So prize pack 1, you're going to pick up the Arbalest 2 and 1 VXP Breacher token. Prize pack 2 is where you're going to get the raised scatter gun and the same 1200 VXP token times 2. In prize pack 3 is where you're going to pick up the actual hull blueprint, the Breacher Dreadnought itself, 2 more of the ranking tokens, and 1 day build token. Now, and then mastery prize is you're going to pick up 2 of the ranking tokens and 2 days of breacher build tokens. And I got to say, I myself have gone through, I did prize pack 1, and I have a really, really nice fleet of razor tails, and I picked up 5 hours damage. And I did prize pack 2, and I picked up, and I picked up 8, I believe, 7 hours, just under 8 hours damage, and for a BXP token. Now I'm not going to go any further because that's quite a lot of damage for a BXP token, in my opinion. So I mean, but it is there, and for those that do not have the breacher haul, the breacher is a great haul. So you're really going to want to try to get it, and for those that don't have it, I would say then it's worth the damage. But for those that are trying to get the extra tokens, it's just not. So I mean, it's not a. I guess the damage would be appropriate if you didn't have the items and you weren't solely going for the mastery prize. You know what I mean?
I know I myself have not had a chance to try this one yet. I was actually doing the mega one. And I haven't played BP at all today. I was playing Assassin's Creed all day, so and packing up stuff here at the home front. So
there's some really exceptional drivers out there, and I have been hearing of times going for all the way up to like 2 hours and 15 minutes damage for a prize pack. Yeah, and that's the best I have heard, and that would, in my opinion, sound in line, but that's just not what I got.
Cool. So I mean, you end up getting what potential of, is it 7 days worth of breacher tokens? Am I reading that right?
Yes. You can do the 3 times, and you get 2 tokens, and you see, yeah, you're going to pick 6 up there and 1 from the prize pack 3. So yeah. It's really a lot of tokens. I was wanting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be up to each individual person, you know, like go through, do the targets, and if it seems like too much damage for you, don't do it. And if you're okay with the amount of damage you're taking, then do it, because it's definitely worth it if you're taking reasonable damage.
For sure. Or if you could make it through, you know, repair overnight or when you're offline or at work, if your fleet can make it through these, that's a whole different thing. You know, then the damage can be, you can schedule it in your day or whatever, even if your fleet can just survive it. You know what I mean? If there's not too much difference between the 5 hours damage and 8 hours damage, in my opinion. Once I get to the 5 hour damage, I log out and I repair overnight. Same thing with the 8, you know. So it's, if your fleet makes it, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's kind of like the way I look at it. Like, you know, if I can do it, and honestly, I'm okay with up to like 12 hours worth of damage even, because like if I can do a prize pack, sleep on the repairs, you know, even have it go into part of the next day, as long as I can do a prize pack per day, you know, it's worth it.
Exactly. That's what I was meaning.
Yeah, but it gets to the point, it's like I have to coin to even get through a prize pack. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Right.
But I'm a cheap ass, so. And then we had the Tightening Awaken campaign. That one started yesterday and goes till the 27th as well. And this freaked me out because, like, when I originally heard about it, I was like, "Oh, cool, a new campaign for our megas." Well, not really. I mean, you get mega stuff, but you're going to be using your eradicators and/or your strikes to get your mega stuff. So that seems pretty weird to me. I don't know. But anyway, in the first prize pack, you get the kinetic engine module, and you can get the anti-cannon helicopter modules, and 2 6-hour mega upgrade tokens. Prize pack 2, you get the jet engine module, the anti-mortar quadcopter modules. You get what is that, 10,000 titanium?
Yes.
And you get 4 more of the 6 hour mega module tokens. Then in the third prize pack, we start getting into the new stuff. You can get the oh man, my eyes are so bad. Let me move up here just a little bit. This is why I usually have you guys do the blueprints, because of printing on them installer. The Goalkeeper chain gun, and you get 15,000 titanium and 4 more 6-hour tokens. And then the last mastery prize pack, you can get the Harpoon missile launcher, 20k titanium, and you for each run through, and apparently there's 5 run throughs, you get a 1-day mega module one, a 12-hour Goalkeeper token, and then a 12-hour Harpoon token as well. And like I said, the mastery run you can do up to 5 times. So I
wonder if there's a limit on the those tokens. I know there's like 18, for the 6-hour, but what about the bigger tokens? Does anybody know?
I don't know off the top of my head. Obviously, you can tell by. Actually, that's Ross's pictures of what's checked off and whatnot, but I don't think I've gotten any further than Ross has. But I haven't gotten that far, so I don't know yet at this point. I would definitely say, as you're getting your tokens, check and make sure, keep an eye on those limits. And if you happen to get more tokens than what you have a limit for, put in a ticket. They'll give you the token that you go over by. I had to do that during the Siege token campaigns.
It's pretty. What do you think about the damage on this one? Has anybody? Again,
it's hard for me to tell. I was autoing it. I did prize pack 1. I think I took like 2 hours of damage, but it was total auto. So I'm okay with that. Again, as long as I can do a prize pack a day, that's all I really give a shit about.
I totally agree. I didn't know if I made it through just this 1 and 2. I didn't know if anybody else had made it. I'm hoping that I can go, even I'd like to do the mastery, even if it's 12 hours damage or whatever, but I'd like my fleet to make it. And so I was just wondering if that was the case or not. But I was really, okay, well, I guess not, but I was really interested, shocked to find out that we're not using the megas, or the Hyperion. That were
okay, here I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat thing, and they know that hardly anybody ever would coin repairs on a mega to do a TLC, but they know there are people out there who will either coin repairs on their eradicators or strikes to do the TLC, or there might be people whose eradicators aren't quite done yet, but they might coin them so they can do the TLC. I think that's what it all comes down to, and to be honest, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm in a way, I'm kind of it's kind of cool in a way, because like my mega's terrible, and now I can at least get some good shit to put on it, But at the same point in time, it's like mega campaigns have always been use your mega to do them, So they were supposed to kind of be totally separate from the rest of the game, but apparently they've decided not to make them totally separate from the rest of the game really anymore. But anyway, are you home yet, Travis?
I think I heard a front for a door.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the door.
Okay, well, we'll let Ross do this blueprint, and then by the time we get to the next one, you should be ready.
We got the Goalkeeper chain gun, LV1. It's Forsaken tech. It's 20,000 tons. Armor points, 4,500,000. So that's a lot of armor points. So penetrative defense, bypass, 100%. Along with these are all going to be 100%. Ballistic defense bypass, concussive, corrosive, explosive, and radioactive. They're all going to be a straight 100%. As far as your defense, you're going to have the explosive, ballistic, concussive, the whole realm at deflection at 1 million, I guess, right?
That's 100,000, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 100,000. Yeah,
it would be really nice. It would be really, really super nice if they could put commas in the damages, like they put commas in the health, and like they put commas in the damages over there. Why can't you put commas in deflections?
That would help me read.
Is that very difficult to do in programming? I would think that would be extremely easy to do in programming.
Here we go. And so it has weapon slots is 10, special slots is 5. It is a cannon, is ballistic damage, so projectile speed on this is 900. That's pretty fast. It does have splash at 10, accuracy 100, range is 40 to 250, damage is 3 million, salvo of 20, reload time 10, and it said module damage also of 150,000. So repair duration, it's automatic repair. I mean, because it doesn't, this weapon itself doesn't have a repair time, as far as I know. I don't believe others do either. I mean, it's just what you add on it that does. It seems pretty strong. I haven't seen any in action, obviously, since they've only just been out. They're hard for me to tell until I can see them. You know, I can't tell what the damage really does.
So what, 150K per shot, right?
Right. A salvo of 20.
Yeah, well, that's how I came up with 150K per shot.
Right. So
So I don't know. I'll be totally 100% honest. I'm not that into megas, so I really haven't looked over it all that much, and I don't really care. I mean, that's terrible, but that's all, you know, that's what I have to say about it.
I like them a lot. I don't think that this one's really. I think maybe on the next slide or something is maybe what I'm going to have my eye on. It's just the cannon style weapon is not really what I'm after in my own type of Hyperion battles. I like the splash idea, but you know, it's just I want more.
Like, this weapon and the other one kind of pair well together, right? Because doesn't this one like prioritize the fleets where the other one prioritizes the modules on the Mega?
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of an interesting twist on things.
Yeah, that would help out with all the drone spamming, kind of. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like Travis is like kind of ready at this point. So we'll let him do this blueprint.
All right, this is the Harpoon missile launcher level 1. It features a fixed angle, which is a narrow firing arc. Says it provides concentrated superior firepower. You know, this was the same. It's the 20,000 tons. It'll add 4,500,000 armor points. All your defense bypass is 100%. And then you get your, 100,000 deflection. Let's see, this one will hold 10 weapon slots and 5 special slots. It's tier 7 missile penetrating. The projectile speed is 350, so that's pretty decent. 100% accuracy. The range is, you'll have a small donut of 40, and it's pretty good range of 350. Your damage is 2,560,000 with a salvo of 4 and a reload time of 8. And it does additional module damage, which is different from the your base damage at 5,120,000. So and the repair duration of 0. So all in all, I think this is the better of the two. I think the other one could be used more of a like a support kind of, but I think this one's more of the kind of the heavy hitter of the two, I think.
And I'm not really sure how the module damage works.
Yeah, so and how does that what takes priority first? Does the module take it first and then say like the incoming drones, or will it do the drones first and then target the modules?
Well, this one prioritizes mega modules over ships, correct?
Right.
Oh yeah, that was the last line that I didn't read. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. See, I don't even like megas, and I knew that much. But yeah, I mean, and this I see places for both of them because in previous megas I've campaigns I've had things where it's like, oh, I wish my weapons were shooting at the modules instead of the one little trying to chase down the one little boat that's out there trying to kill me, or and vice versa. It's like, man, there's a module on the enemy mega that's not doing a damn thing, but these boats are fucking me up, and I ain't shooting at them. So it's nice to see this variety, and you can kind of like tailor make it more to what's giving you problems at any given instance.
The one thing that sort of always kind of confused me, which I didn't fool with megas a lot until kind of coming back, and I was just kind of doing it in my spare time. But the two attacks always was kind of confusing, coming back in and seeing like the bypass for everything, but then you still have your attack numbers. So it's just kind of a confusing sort of stat.
I agree.
Sorry, I'm a little sidetracked. I'm having a conversation with Saltwater at the same time. My bad.
No, I agree. I just think it is a confusing stats. I mean, that's why I can't tell. And I'm into megas, and I just can't tell how really good they're going to be until they're on.
Yeah, that's like me because it just like I tested a couple different the older ones like the rockets and different things, but I actually had to get it on, which I even watched YouTube videos, but you really have to almost experience the mega weapon to really figure it out. It's a strange twist to kind of what we're not used to normally. But I'm sure some people are like, well, how can you not get that? It probably makes perfect sense to them, But
how's the next TLC up if you guys want to do that while I continue conferring with Saltwater?
Yeah, I can cover that. It's the next one. It's the Major Razor campaign. It's going to start Wednesday. It did start Wednesday the 20th, and it ends also the Wednesday the 27th. This one's to pick up your Razor Tail flagship, and it says these targets are tough and will most likely take legendary Manicore fleet with a flagship to crack. But make it all the way through, and you will have the Occam's Razor Tail in your inventory. And I have to say it's a make or break thing on the fleet. It's a totally different fleet without the lead. So if you do not have the lead yet, you want to go for this campaign here. In Prize Pack 1, you're going to pick up the Nailhead Rocket. In Prize Pack 2, you're going to pick up another Nailhead Rocket, and along with Razor Tail ranking token ×2. In Prize Pack 3 is where you're going to pick up Occam's Razor Tail, the print itself, and 3 of the ranking tokens. In Prize Pack 4 is the Mastery, so you're going to get another Nailhead Rocket, and you get 3 ranking tokens and 2 Occam's build tokens. Each time you go through, and you can go through the mastery possibility of 3 times. So 6 tokens. It's pretty good. If you don't have that, you're going to want this one.
I wish I could do this just for the the mastery round tokens, but unfortunately I don't have my Makara built, so it's obviously crucial to it. But it'd be hopefully I can get on that someday soon, because I know the shift is coming. But it'd be nice to be able to get the razor tail tokens, just because I never did finish my razor tails. I just kind of focused more on the bites and only built, I think 2 of them, and then I got a blank hull. So it'd be fun to have them to play with, but I'm not gonna, there's no way I could even coin my way through it, I don't think.
Right. Well, not without the lead mana core, because
Right.
they're saying it's going to take a legendary mana core fleet with the flagship to crack.
Yeah.
And I got to say, if they say that, then geez,
Yeah.
Ren and Chad is saying Proto Apollos do way better than Mana Cores. Yeah, how many people do you know that have Proto Apollos actually built though?
Okay. Proto Apollo. I got them empty.
Probably the same people that built what was that last journalist hull we had? The Chameleon. Yeah, probably the same people that built Chameleons built Proto Apollos. Would be my guesstimation. And then we have the Cover of Darkness one. Travis, if you want to do that one.
All right, so this one's ongoing as well, and will end next Wednesday, February the 27th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you still need, maybe a couple the Gathering Storms, which was shard drops originally, but here you'll at least get 3 of them if you can. Well, no, actually, let's see,
Yeah.
5
5.
total if you do the mastery round, but. So you got your Gathering Storm concussive weapon for prize pack 1. Prize pack 2, you'll get that plus the 7,500 VXP Brennus token times 2. And the prize pack 3 is where you'll actually get the Brennus hull, and then you'll get 3 more of the 7,500 VXP tokens for it. Now, if you can do the mastery round, like we said on the other one, you can do it 3 times. So you'll get triple of the Gathering Storm, the VXP tokens, and then you have the 1-day Brennus Bat Ray build token times 2. So that right there, you'll get 6 tokens there. So it'd be nice to be able to get that, but. And I know some people, I actually watched a couple of people on the map doing it, and they were using the mana cores with I guess the Savage CIC. There were missiles set up, and it's a lot of kiting, but it was manageable and kind of made me a little bit jealous that I couldn't do it. I was like, well, I know the kiting thing is kind of old and played out, but it also brings back a little bit of memories too. It gets redundant while you're doing it after a while, but at the same time, it's that old school BP. So.
Good deal. I see Simba joined us. Good evening, Simba.
Cool. Simba can do Turrets of Terror Elite campaign. Go, Simba.
Okay. How are you guys?
Hey, all right.
Trial by fire. Here you go.
Okay.
Just read over what's on the slide. It'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. It started Wednesday. You got a week to do it. You get the extra turns that you don't have. You got the halo. You're missing the special thermal casing. You got it, and you get the 7-day build tokens 3 times. Prize pack 2 is the Javelin 2. You get the special for the heavy ballistic shells, and then the 7 3-day tokens. Or 3-day. Oh my gosh.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the prize pack 3 is Cold Snap Rockets turns times 2. Do it, looks like twice. Then Fuel Tank, if you don't have that special. Then you get a 1-day structure build token and 7-day Cold Snap times 3. And then prize pack 4 is the Kinetic Motion Cannon. Oh God, I'm not trying to pronounce that. The launcher 2. And then 3-day launcher build tokens times 5.
Yeah.
And then 2 one-day structure build tokens. But before you use all your tokens for the structure, make sure you use one of them. Otherwise, you will lose the one-day structure build token.
Oh, yeah.
Good call.
And that would be phlogiston launcher, just so you know.
I would mess up trying to pronounce that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I mean, this is literally, you've never been on a Thursday show, and I just threw you straight into the fire. So
Cool.
And you did well.
Thank you very much.
He did the same to me. I was like,
You did well. And good night and good evening.
Thank you.
But there is good news. Like, I would have liked to have seen like the ECM in here maybe, or like do a rerun of the original Turrets of Terror, the non-elite one with the ECM. But good news on the ECM front. Apparently, in the next patch, it is getting its build time addressed, and there's going to be a reduction to it. How much that reduction is, I don't know, but I got that confirmed on Discord yesterday, I believe, or the day before, one of the two.
that's really
So, yeah, for all you people who were deleting all your turrets and deleted your ECM so you could fix your bubble pad, Ross. So you'll soon be able to put your ECMs back in without having to wait like the 9 days. If you'll have to wait at all, I don't know. Or if you could just do it with base parts, you might be able to. I don't know. But yeah, that is supposed to be changing.
Good deal.
Yeah, that is a good deal. That's good news. I'm glad they addressed that. That's very much appreciative. Appreciate it.
All right, then we got the XP weekends and the bug fixes. This is all you, Ross.
All right, we got BXP weekend started today, the 21st at 9 a.m. and it ends Monday, the 25th. The unidentified raider siege targets are spawning with level 50 targets available through the activity until Monday. The special level 88 siege targets spawning for the first 36 hours of the activity. The special targets drop a Defender VXP token upon destruction. There are no elites or salvage VXP increases this activity. And time to rank those ships up. And well, it's basically, you know what, we've seen this one before. So we've seen these targets before. It's nothing new. It's what I've found is if you get the most points from the ships in the 88s. So you can the rest of it really doesn't pay very well, and it's in my opinion as far as the ranking. It's unless only part of the target that pays you for not dying are the ships, correct? I mean,
yeah, but I took in I built the what I always call him Captain Facepalm, that Solon dude, the guy with the handprint on his, the Reaver guy.
Right.
So I got a blank of that, and then the tokens that I got from the past raid, I built 2 blank strikes with just 1 launcher each, and then I actually threw in 2 of my Proto Apollos just because I didn't have anything else I really needed to rank. But I crashed it with a Silver Salty. Someone had already sniped the ships out, but I still come out with 59.8 K. So all in all, that wasn't too bad.
okay.
And Dynamite in chat just asked something about the spawn time of the 88th. It's actually longer than 36 hours. When Ross originally pulled this post, he had taken it from before they added the extra day. So while I changed the start time, I forgot to change the total amount of hours. So it would actually be an extra 24 hours of the in there. So yeah, they'll spawn until Saturday at the same time. It's just the number of hours there. I didn't correct that from the original post.
Oh, good catch though, because I didn't correct that.
Yeah, he didn't. Ross hadn't added the extra day in at all. So I corrected it halfway. I added the extra day in. I just didn't do it in the hours part.
And then
And this is why we always keep an eye on chat, or at least try to while we're doing the show, because that way when people have questions, we can be like, oh, yeah, I screwed that up, or no, this is the way that is.
All right. And then we got bug fixes, and we have the warehouses were displaying placeholder texts in the upgrade model for level 8 and 9. In gifting, attempting to send friends a resource crate gift would sometimes cause an error. And then below is the error shown, and that's pretty good. I really like that they've been adding in the what these errors will look like instead of just stating what they are.
I'm actually, when I came back to the game, I had 137 resource crates, and I'm down to like 7 now. So it's amazing the difference in how people used to, like everybody would, hook your buddies up with, a little something, and even the merc fleets, when they were relevant, but it's crazy just to watch it dwindle down to nothing. I'm like, maybe I should start sending them out to people so they'll help me out.
And then they fixed there's another issue with the ships on the Basilisk. The firing arc was visible to both players in battle. And so it ended up being all strange. One was showing up behind them, and it was just weird. There it is shown, by the way.
No.
There it says lag was also lag occurring when joining combat, when using accelerator was addressed, and general bug fixes and performance improvements were made.
Wonder what those were.
Magic.
Then also they had some things that popped up throughout the week that I grabbed this off of Discord. The Breach of Dreadnought is no longer showing as owned for people who aren't at the max into the breach. Apparently, if you only had 4, but you could get another one, it was showing as owned. But they took care of that. And refit time should no longer display incorrectly. There was an issue with the game calculating refit times as lower than they actually were in the visual timer, then correcting their intended time once the build started. They'll display correctly. They'll display correct times prior to starting the refit now. And ballistic and radioactive resistors max cap returned to 20.
Good deal. I don't know what the cap was. 10?
They raised it to 20, and then I guess it went back down to 10, and then it was
readjusted
again.
Okay.
So
I know that many people were having issues with that Dreadnought. I know that as far as bug fixes, that Dreadnought issue showing owned, it was really blocking or a problem for many of my players. So I don't know. I didn't have it, encounter it, but lots of people had problems.
So I guess the next thing we'll go to is the thing that Ross didn't make a slide for. Shame on you, Ross.
The wrong thinker thinks.
Yeah, burrs. You got your reading spectacles on, Ross?
I do.
Let me start screen share back up here in a second.
I gotta say that I might miss some wording. I'm guessing.
My God. What?
All right. Just let me know when you're ready for me to scroll down.
All right. Hello, captains. Wrong thinker here. Over the weekend, we ran the focus test of our upcoming battle report and defense improvement features. While we were technically used the preview server, it's worth noting that this was not really a preview. There's a reason I used the word focus test. These features are still very much in progress and needed your input to ensure that they were doing what they needed to do. So how did the focus test go? Personally, I think it went great. But let me give you some details, starting with the battle report feature. The battle report update. First off, a whopping 60% of our community testers did use the battle report feature to optimize their builds, which is darn good sign. You guys definitely love this feature when it goes live. However, we received feedback that certain information wasn't super useful. And the avoided damage category. And the color scheme made it a little hard to read. We're taking that feedback to heart. First, we're going to be upping the contrast in the colors to improve the readability of the battle report. More importantly, we're going to be changing the nature of the information in the battle report shows. Instead of showing damage you successfully avoided or countermeasured, which you can already see as you play anyway, we're going to focus information around things that are less visible. Now we'll be showing taken damage, resisted damage, which is damage reduced by defenses and deflection, and evaded damage. This will be way more informative. Now in the next section here, we're
hang on. Let's stop and go over this for a minute.
Okay.
So okay, I'm glad to see that they since it was hard to read that they're going to redo that. Ren said something in chat though that I found extremely funny though. When they said about 60% of the players who tested it, he's like, oh, 60% of the 3 people. You might have heard me start laughing a little bit partway through you reading that. That's when I saw him say that in chat. But yeah, because I know how big test servers usually tend to be, and it's like, okay, so 60% of a very small percentage of people say, oh, this is great. But anyway, so that's good.
Is it still planned out going out for PvP also?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah. I'm not sure that I agree that stuff that like avoided damage category, I'm not sure I agree that that isn't useful, because isn't that exactly where evade comes in? That would be a damage that I avoided.
Yeah, but I think what they've done is take that category and just break it down, you know, into basically a quad spectrum to where it's still, well, a part of it's, you know, your damage taken, but you know, the resistance, and then the defense and deflection. So that, well, I guess that's not really avoided, but I mean, it's mitigated. So, but yeah, you're totally correct about the evaded damage.
Yeah, so yeah, like Ren said, that would be evade and countermeasure. So I would think that would be a useful stat, in my personal opinion.
You're going to want that, yeah.
I think there should be a evade stat, you know, strictly for what actually, you know, your guidance scramblers and stuff like that, agility system evades, then a countermeasure stat. Like, so how good is the countermeasures working? Like, you know, that, because a lot of times there's a tipping point of like, you know, what's the perfect number and what's too much or what's not enough. So a countermeasure stat would be nice too.
Yeah, I would have been a much bigger fan if they had done like the rolling combat text like I tried to push for at the beginning, you know, just like they do in several other games. It would just be like another chat tab that you would have there, and you could be watching it. It would say such and such hit you for this much damage, and X amount negated by whatever, you know, and then be like, oh, you know, such and such shot out of air by this countermeasure, this much damage avoided, blah blah blah, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. And you can just go back and peruse it after combat, you know, in the chat window. But maybe that's too difficult for Flash. I don't know.
It definitely helped the player base, like just the playability, because it would give them confidence and kind of a warning, like kind of the oh shit factor, like I need to turn now, get out of dodge, you know, kind of thing, which a lot of us, that's second nature, but to a lot of new players, and even to us old players facing new mechanics, sometimes we face those situations where the rolling text would be great.
No, I don't know because I'm not in the group or anything, you know, but is this going to be easy for the masses to understand? Or is this going to be something they're going to just avoid?
I have no idea. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I'm hoping it's easy for the masses, in all honesty, I guess. I don't know. I like the features in theory. I don't, and I really do hate the aspect still that just you're going to hit my base and get a report on what you just, on what you need to change. That's kind of, okay, I get it. But I just was hoping that wouldn't be released.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in their minds though, it's good for them because the guy who fails in your base is going to go out and see, okay, well, I'm getting nuked by concussive damage in your base, for example. So now since I'm a top end PvPer, I'm going to go coin refits for my base for my baser just so I can get in your base.
Right.
You know? So from that, you know, from their perspective, yeah, I see where having PvP is a great thing.
Here's what I think, though, and my concern is for PvP, it better be both players get the battle report because it shouldn't be just the attacker gets it. The defender needs that info as well because, like, you know, maybe they'll do one where eventually, you know, it relays that info to how much damage you took, you know, say for turrets or splash or whatever. You know, I'm talking like later on, but the thing is, it can't be a one-sided thing because otherwise that's just, that's not cool. It needs to be displayed to everybody, you know, that was in that battle, I think. I don't know how everybody else feels, but to me, it just would seem wrong to be attacked and then some person be able to pick apart my base and then me not have a clue of
how to defend against it. Right. You can't change your defense to match it.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can, but you have to guess instead of getting a report.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
So it's going to be interesting to see what it's all going to look like at the end.
Right.
So, all right, then we want to go on to the defense improvement part. And Ren, if you want to get on and jump, on and talk about this part, shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll send you the link because I'm interested also to hear what you had to say about this part, especially the one thing that just didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, and here we go. Defense improvements update. For the defense improvements, the community immediately found that a high-level tanking strategies were punished by the newer system, with players seeing significantly higher damage against their flags. Discovering this sort of oversight is exactly the reason we run focus tests, since the intention of the defense improvements is not to make your lives worse. We are going back and adjusting the durability of flags in the new system to ensure that players don't see a repair hike with the changes. The community also flagged 2 other concerns which we're investigating. The first is that the changes result in PvE halls being able to compete unreasonably well against PvP halls, with the community suggesting that we just wall off PvE from PvE completely. We already did this restrictions with PvP attacking PvE. So this would be ensuring PvE can't attack PvP. This is really great work by the community. So we're going to be working towards resolving this. The second issue, which is to be expected, is that the new system will take some learning. To address this, the point head on, this is just straight up true. The transition cost of changing from one system to another is never free, but we can lower the cost by talking a bit more about the system itself and what it looks like. So to that end, let's take a look at the picture, and then we're going to show this Eradicator. And on the stats blocks over on the right side, we're going to look at your defensive stats. Is where the only stats that are going to be altered here. It's going to list 2,700 is a number, and then 142%. Right, correct? And so
Yep.
that is now
well, so basically, like I can tell by your stuff that you're totally lost already.
yeah, for sure.
Well, the defense rating there, 2,700 is, with them putting a percentage by that, is that saying that, all right, that's the equivalent of 142%?
No, they're saying that basically your hull is going to last 142% longer than what it would have.
Oh, okay.
Before. So like 1.42 times as long as what it would have previously.
So once we start adding specials, that numbers will fluctuate. Correct?
Yes. So go ahead and finish reading the rest of it, Ross, and then we'll go back.
Blank errand will hopefully start to give you a sense of what's going on with your new system. There are 3 things to note here. First, the health value is much higher than it was before. Keep in mind the cost and time repairing a fully damaged hull. That will not change with this health increase. Adding a health to the hulls is what allowing us to move away from the old system while maintaining the consistent experience in the targets. Second, we list our defense values. You see as a flat value, in this case 2,700. The components and buffs add to this number. To the higher the number, the longer your hull survives.
Okay, now let's just stop right here. Isn't that basically the exact same fucking thing we have going on now?
The higher my defense number, the longer it would survive. Correct. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that they're pretty much adding components is going to make that number higher, and that's the exact same thing we have happening now with defenses.
Right.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Components and buffs add to this number. The higher the okay, so third, the percentage that appears after the flat defense value, that the number shown in parentheses, is how long your hull survives as a result of the defense of the hull. If you see the corrosive defense is the 3,600 at 200%, that means you're going to be surviving 2 times as long as you would without the 3,600 corrosive defense. So you would have survived 10 seconds without the defense. You're going to survive 20 seconds with it.
Okay. All right. So, who wants to talk about this first?
I could just do simple. It's that, in my opinion, 2 thumbs down. All right. I'll address what you're seeing. This is just my opinion. Okay. Everybody has theirs. So I can be wrong. You're noticing flag damage, and some of the targets you're noticing certain hulls are being damaged more than others. That's because priority targeting, folks. That's what that is. Let's address that. That's not anything more than, that doesn't have anything to do with your defenses or your ship builds. That's the targets themselves and the way they're designed. So the whole reason we have to address this is because the targets have priority targeting? No, that's silliness. So this whole thing, in my opinion, is a 2 thumbs down.
I guess. Well, hang on. I guess in theory, what we should do is go on to the why the change in defense is a good thing, and then we can talk about the whole thing.
All right. Okay. So, update. Why has changed the defense a good thing? It appears we've done a pretty poor job of explaining why defense changes are. Yeah, I didn't read this myself. So
let me. I'm going to go through and just kind of synopsis this a little bit, because people, if they want to, they can go on the forums and like actually physically read the whole thing themselves.
Okay, because I haven't even read this part. Go ahead.
Okay, so he says the defense system currently stands as broken, which I don't know that I necessarily agree with, but it brutally punishes any and all customization, crushes diverse play styles, and scales poorly. In my opinion, the amount of damage that's coming out of the target is what does that, but that's neither here nor there. It compresses ultra high volatility into low I can't even read variance, which makes targets often way harder than they should be. Blah 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 blah. He says, "Let me give you an example. Which of the following in the current system is most useful?" He says, A, going from 60 to 80, B, going from 70 to 85, C, going from 97 to 99, or D, going from 99.4 to 99.7. And he says it's option C, going from 97 to 99, which I personally totally disagree with. I think it's option D, and we're in the process of having a big, long discussion about this right now. So he says it's significantly better than the others, which again I totally disagree with. It says even if the answer was obvious to you, which I don't think the answer is obvious to him, but he says by looking at active hull builds, most players would answer this question incorrectly. To be very clear, I don't fault anyone for guessing wrong. The system is not good. Blah blah blah. So he says, if you get a single component and if you got a single component in your build wrong, it could be the difference between 3 coins and 7 coins. Getting 2 components wrong could be the difference between 3 coins and not being able to do the target at all. Where still players might actually be missing a critical component or 2, so they're just totally screwed. This means the current system isn't just broken, it's not fair. Unfortunately, it's possible the new system won't be make a ton more sense. Blah blah blah. Optimizing your build will save you coin, but missing a single component for the best build will no longer be synonymous with I guess I can't do the raid at all now.
I found much more issues with having one less ship in a fleet than one wrong special.
So, but you know why that is, right?
And that's by the way they're designed. I mean, to add the bonuses to have a complete fleet.
It's all about the resistance, right? And
right.
You have the problem is like 8 years ago when ships started getting resistance, you'd put a special that give you 50% resistance. So you go from 0 to 50, and it's pretty cool. I'm even sharing a chart. If you guys want to look at that chart I'm sharing, it shows why it gets out of control.
Okay.
What's really interesting though is like your chart and my chart are kind of almost going on the same thing there.
Cool. Yeah. So I don't know if you're showing it or not, but anyways.
Yeah, I'm showing both of them at the moment. Well, I'm highlighting yours. I'm gonna highlight yours, and then I'm gonna switch to mine because they basically say the same thing.
So what's happening is like for years they've been just giving a special that add how much resistance we can have, but they're hitting a wall. The resistance can never be 100%, otherwise our ships would be invincible. They don't want that, right? And even the way the math is calculated, you can get to 99.99999, and still you won't get to 100. But they ran out of space. So when I look at the example he gives of the Eradicator on his post, and if you look at the armor, the new version of the Eradicator will have, this is just like a refit, right? A major, how did they call the PvP thing they did last year?
Oh, the refactor.
So that's a PvE refactor they're doing here.
Yes.
So he's transferring all that resistance that today we have that's always over 99%. And honestly, the game can't even show the decimal point.
Right.
So you look in game and, oh, it's 99. You don't know if it's 99 or if it's 99.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. And as you can see in the chart, the difference between 99.5 and 99.7%, it's 50% more damage you can take.
It's huge.
Right, and that's the conversation I'm having with them right now. Because when they said 97% to 99% was the best up in defense there, I'm like, no, it's not. It's the 99.4 to the 99.7.
No.
Allows me to twice as much damage.
Again, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at my chart, okay, the 92%, you can take 1.25 million damage, right? If you look at my chart. At 97, you can take 3.33. So it has almost tripled. Almost tripled. So in percentage gain, that was the most effective. And that's what he was highlighting there. It's absolutely not obvious. So if you look at the absolute number, you're right. I mean, going from 20 million to 33 million, I'm gaining 13 million, so it's huge. It's the biggest gain. But it's a 50% gain. From 92 to 97, it's almost a 200% gain.
Right, percentage.
So percentage-wise, you're gaining the most. The problem that's the whole mechanic reaching the final the side of the curve, close to 100%, is that any minor change on your build that takes away 0.2% from you, and you're going to fail miserably, and it makes nearly impossible for them to tune targets or to try for any variety. That's why missing a ship that gives you a 25% bonus on top of the 99% you already have, it's that 0.2, and it means you're going to take 13 million more damage than the other guy, right? It's ridiculous. So what they're doing behind the scenes, you're not going to see that in the new model. They are cutting down the percentages all the way back to a very low value, right? But if they left that exposed, people would just go nuts saying, oh, you're taking all my defenses away. They are. That's what they're doing. They're taking all the defenses away. They're redistributing that defense back in the raw armor, and that's why the Eradicator, it's going from, I don't know, 100,000 armor to 29 million armor, as you saw in the picture on Wrong Thinkers post.
Yes.
Right? They're moving all that back to the ship health. They're bringing the percentages way down. So now you're working in like, oh, okay, if I go from 40 to 50%, it's a small change. It's okay. I can afford not to have one ship. I can afford not to have the right armor. I can afford not to have the top special and not die an instant horrible death.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Why is rewriting this whole aspect of the game a better solution than just reducing the amount of damage that the targets do in the first place?
Well, if you simply reduce the damage they do at a point where players are working with resistances over 99%, then everything is invincible. Because, again, there's an expectation that every raid cycle there's going to be a new ship that's better than the previous ship.
But there's still always minimum damage, though. Well, and like the whole people will never build new boats if they can use the old boats to do it. That's a moot point because they lock everything out in the specific tiers. So people are going to have to build the new boat.
If you want to hit the top target, right? Otherwise, you can just do like my Hydras last month were hitting the 80s better than the Eradicators. Because again, you don't have room anymore to grow resistance. So if they don't touch the resistance, the only variable they have to touch them is the armor. But the armor, again, players have an expectation that the armor will keep growing, right? And the number of slots will keep growing for specials and whatever. So it's a very hard point. And even to tune a target at that point, you say, let's lower the damage. But then you lower the damage. Let's say they cut the damage in the targets today 3 times less. You have ships at 99.8% resistance. What's going to happen? Everybody's going to do the raids for instant repair. And again, I mean, it might be cool for players, but as a business, they can have that.
But that's assuming that they've taken minimum damage out. Have they done that?
Well, I understand they have. When it's percentage-wise, they've taken the minimum damage out of the equation.
I guess the problem is, though, we don't really know for sure whether they have or not. We only have their word for that.
All I know is behind the scenes, and nobody told me that. It's when I saw that they bumped the armor from 100K to 29 million, and knowing that they have no more room to grow resistance where they are after years of increasing resistance, right? We're at the end. That's it. We're running at 99.8, 99.9%. So they're doing a hard reset and disguising that hard reset by hiding the percentage and giving you a score. Your score is 3,000. What the heck does that mean? Well, it means that, you know, you're surviving 140% longer than you were before you added that special. You put a special, you put a few armors, oh, now your score is going to be 4,000 and you're surviving 300% longer.
But doesn't that
behind the scene, they just drop the resistance down to whatever, 20% again to reset that variable, and they bump the armor, because the armor they can keep increasing forever. There's no maximum for armor, but there is for health, but there is a maximum for resistance, and they hit it. So either they kill that aspect of the game, or they got a hard reset.
But it seems like we're going to end up having to build our ships the exact same way that we're bound to build them now.
Not really. I mean, if they are hard resetting the resistances back to 20-30%, you can afford, like my ship at 50% and your ship at 30 can have very similar results. If you don't have, you're at 30 and I'm at 50, but you have a lot more firepower. Because if you look at my chart from 30 to 50, it's barely 30% difference in damage taken, right?
Right.
It's not like you're not talking about, oh, it's going from 20 million to 33 million. You're talking, yeah, my damage is going from 140K to 200K, and the ship has 29 million armor, so who cares?
So when I'm building a hull that I have not seen before, how do I know what number then? Because before I got, I got a 95 or 98%. When now I'm going to have what, just a number that I have no idea what it is?
You're going to have a score. Just like the ships, when you put them on an expedition, they have a score. And you know, the higher that number, the better your fleet's going to do. But without having experience with the new system, we're going to be lost for a while. So they better do like they did with the PvP refactor and just give us a period of grace to refit all of our ships with plenty of tokens, half-time discounts, the crap. Because we're going to have to relearn that. Is 3,000 good? Is 5,000 good?
But see,
how much better is 5,000 versus 3,000? I don't know.
The thing is, if the higher number is always better, I'm still going to be putting the armor panels on that are going to give me the higher number. I'm still going to be putting on the special that gives me the higher number. I'm still going to be putting all the shit on that gives me the higher number. So I'm building my boat the exact same fucking way.
Yeah, but that's you. A lot of people, they're not going to pick the perfect build every time. A lot of people, we all know, make mistakes and get married to some builds. So that this will,
and that's the thing,
punishing for them. What they've done is they've hit in gaming. There's a thing called the percentage peak. Like percentage systems is great for like console games and stuff like that, but a long-term real-time strategy, unless it's managed properly, you're going to run out of room very quick. And like Ren said, the only thing that was left to do is hard nerf everything, and that would piss everybody off. Well, they're still hard nerfing it. They're just flipping the script and changing the numbers to a point to where now it's a system that doesn't run out. You know what I'm saying? It's just another stair step. So some people are still going to build, know what to build, and you're going to maximize that number. Some people it's going to help, but at the same time, it's to a point where our resistance has got so high. I noticed even in the skirmish cycle, like, having to change just a couple specials made hours of repair difference. So
yeah, the thing is, before, when the resistance curve is on the below the 90% mark, right, you can make trade-offs. You can say, I'm going to get extra 10% evade, or I'm going to get extra 10% speed, or extra 10% splash damage reduction, but I'll sacrifice 10% resistance. If you're talking in the range between, especially below 60-70%, it's a comparable trade-off. You can give up on this to get that, and it's a fair trade. Where we are now with resistance, every 0.1% means so much damage that no other variable in the game can be traded off for that resistance. You need that resistance when you're at that high, because that 0.1% is 10 million damage. Gaining 10% evade or gaining 10% splash, it doesn't matter. The games choose not to. There's never there's absolutely no trade-offs that are worth making when you're giving up on taking that much more damage at that level, because you're going on an exponential curve, right? When you do a hard reset and bring everybody back to a very low resistance number without us seeing that, and you put everything in the armor, now you have millions of raw armor, and you're going to see a different experience where you may want to give up on the resistance armor and put some evade armor or some speed armor again, like we used to do years ago. Years ago, it wasn't everything about resistance. I mean, you see some people putting D1C, gaining 10% resistance, but you'd see some people putting D2E. And sometimes the evade armor would do better. But now you have to put the resistance armor because you're on the high right side part of that exponential curve where every 0.1% means a crap load of damage you're going to be taking. And nothing else matters. So it's totally unbalanced. Their fix is not elegant. It's not pretty. But it's the way they decided to do a hard reset on resistances. So the other variables will start mattering again. They'll have a relevance again in the game.
In all honesty, your explanation helps me the most. It truly does way better than anything I've read out of them. It was the easiest for me to follow and for me to understand. I still am at a player that I thought I pretty much understand the game. There's many that understand way more than me. And my concern then now moving forward is how well this delivery is going to be put towards the masses. And if I didn't understand it without your explanation like that, how are I don't know if the community is going to get it. And I'm concerned if the 7-day period and whatever tokens that they give us in that little period that we have to change over is going to work.
Yeah, it's like I said, I mean, I don't know if it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but they will have to give us a grace period because we need to recalibrate all of our understanding of what a good build is. Because we're going to go back to a place where, hey, should I give up on some resistance and put some evade? Should I give up on some resistance and get some speed? Right?
Even turn, we can go back to even that, should I get more turn speed,
Exactly.
Right. And so, it can, and I like that fact. When you explain it like that, I do. I'm just concerned on delivery now.
Absolutely. I'm concerned on delivery, on the time to adjust and understand the changes, because we're going now to a variable, to the way they're going to present the defense that we don't know. Okay, I'm going to start day one knowing that if I see 5,000, it's better than 3,000. But how much better? I have no clue.
Now, why couldn't they just put a resistance cap in the game?
Because they've already excelled so far past with the high resistance that it would basically nullify so much other tech and specials at that point that it
that could have been a solution 2 years ago when the resistances were running at 80%.
Yeah.
Now we're at 99.8 already. What cap you're going to put? There's no cap anymore.
That's because you have to put so many different specials on to get there, though. If you want to open up my variety of specials I can put on, then have me cap out at like 80 resistance, and then once I get to 80 resistance, I can put whatever the hell other specials I want after that.
Yeah, but then they lose an entire variable in the game mechanic, right? It's a whole variable they won't touch anymore because then everybody already has all the tools they need to reach maximum there.
Yeah, they can't build upon it, basically they've reached the peak of the mountain. You know, and there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the hard reset is needed. The fact they're moving everything to the armor, I understand. It would probably be easier for most people to understand if they just saw that all the resistances have been dropped back to, I don't know, 5% base, and the specials are going to add a lot less. We won't see that. They're hiding that behind this magic number. That's the part that bothers me a bit. It's the magic number thing. But again, their choice, right? I kind of don't like it. I know it's needed. I don't like the magic number thingy.
That's not being transparent at all, which is what this team said they were all about, transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say so many things.
True.
My biggest concern is, all right, with the refactor, it was for one specific tier. This will affect everything in PvE, so almost everything has to be addressed, and I hope the team realizes that. I hope they're not just like playing the meta. All right, we'll fix the meta first and then go back. Everything needs to be looked at. Everything.
Yeah.
And you honestly, you want to know my bigger concern is by the time they get done implementing this, then they get done explaining it to everybody, is there going to be enough people left in the game for it to matter? Because I know lots of people who are like, because a lot of them, because of this change, are just ready to be like, I'm done.
Well, it's not that. It's like, in my opinion, again, I've got to say that it will be the delivery on how well people stay in the game, and not the action of this. That's just my thinking. It's on. If they were given the right amount of time to refit, if they were given the right amount of tokens to make it easy, if they explained this all very well, right, that could change. That's going to change on how people take this.
But look at the job they've done explaining it so far.
No, I'm saying, yeah, I agree. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Is my take on it, but it could be better if they on delivery. So I think it's going to be horrible, but I think it could be okay depending on how you delivered it.
And the one thing, you know, from a designer point of view, that they'll have to get from the start is not starting out with overkill and remembering the past mistakes from team to team where there was these significant huge jumps. You know, hopefully they learned a lesson and will pass on those lessons to whoever replaces them in the future, because you can't you know, expect players to jump mountains. You know, you got to be able to climb it. So and the way they've delivered stuff, it's been so exponentially higher on everything, you know, so it's not needed. It really isn't. But what we don't know is the baseline. Like, you know, is the 4,000 or 5,000, what is that baseline of something that's, you know, good? Or see, now we all know, from experience of playing, it's going to take some time playing this to know what, you know, even if they even try to explain it.
Well, and here's like the dark horse part of it too. Like, a lot of people that play this game that I know of are older people. Older people don't like change, man.
No.
And if you totally come in and redo a fundamental part of my game that I've spent 7 years learning and figuring out, and I know what to do, and you suddenly just get rid of that whole part of the game, I might as well just go find a new game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
To me, I just want to play the same. I really don't care if it's percentage or, you know, just a flat rate. If it plays like BP or plays better than it was, then great. Because I mean, I've played so many countless games now and learned so many different stats from all other stuff. It ain't nothing to you know. Some people are just looking to get out, and I understand. And I was at that point, you know. And it's going to happen to a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm here for the playability, not the numbers.
Yeah, but those numbers are what have always given you the ability for the playability, because the numbers allowed you to understand what was going on.
And those numbers held me back a lot of times too.
Yeah, I think if we are given, I guess the correct number of tokens again, and time frame, and just time frame.
They should give us an all-out war, like for 2 weeks, like where we go even like maybe 8th repair, like where it's like fast, where we can get out. Let's do a straight-up beta test for real, community beta test on live servers with freaking everybody, and let us play it. You know.
Well, that would make way too much sense.
Yeah. You want to get people to play it and to enjoy it, let us play it. Let us figure it out. Let's do all-out war.
I mean, like, it just seems to me, though, in the past year, they have totally redone this game. They've totally rewritten the entire game. And at this point, you know, it's almost like playing a new game. And if I'm going to play a new game, I might as well go play a new game with a company who hasn't had their name drug in the mud over the past 8 years.
Well, and you know, and I'm along the same feelings as you, in all honesty. And then I talk to, and then I sit there and I talk to my alliance member, and it's the only thing I can relate to, or I mean, compare this to, or in all honesty, there's just different levels of players throughout the game, and I had no idea that there's so many players that just they really don't know the numbers before. Now they don't really know them now. When they still have fun in the game. So I don't know if this will affect everyone so much as I think it will. You know, I just don't know, because there's so many different types of players.
I just know, looking through the post, though, of his Wrong Thinker things, like the reactions from the players that are posting on that post are not good.
Totally agree. And then again, I think, well, those are the people the people that follow the forums and follow the stuff to see that post are not the people I'm talking about. There's a whole group of people that don't look at anything and just don't care. But there's just a greater group than I thought.
I wish my Battle Pirates life went back to I'll just hit salvages and not care about anything else.
And
Hey, how boring that would be.
No, and a raid's going to be in like a couple months. Get ready for it.
Yes, but you've been kind of quiet about this whole thing. We've all been shooting off the mouth for a while. What's your thoughts on all this?
Not really sure.
Do you understand this? I mean, in all honesty, do you understand what they're going to try to do, or care?
I don't understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to screw us?
No. They're in fact trying to correct the game and give the game room to grow, because we're out of room to grow in one area, to make it basic, to and I just don't know if that's going to be explained well to everyone.
But based on everything I read from Wrong Thinker, if it's up to him to explain, most people will not understand.
Right.
He likes big words, and he lives surrounded day in, day out by those numbers and math and formulas and stuff like that. It's just not in his skill set, based on what I've seen so far, to communicate things in plain, simple English.
I would agree with that 100%.
Yes,
and I'm not taking a cheap dig at the guy. I mean, people are good at some things and not good at other things. And he's not good at communicating things in plain, simple English.
Mm-hmm.
Chris also kind of has that problem. They like their big 50-cent words.
Yep.
You know, I've done a lot of team projects, you know, making like game jams. Like, I don't know if y'all know what a game jam is, but it's basically like a bunch of designers and, you know, people who like making games. You know, you'll get like a weekend. So like somebody's going to build a model, somebody's going to do animation, music, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're just going to try and slam together a game real quick. Well, in that interaction, I've dealt with some people that's kind of like him. They want to try to show how much they know or talk big. Well, here's my best advice to him. Get in the game. Don't talk about it with big words. Get in there and play it. And then maybe, just maybe, if you spend enough time in there, you might start to understand where we're coming from.
So you're saying it's like a Napoleon complex. They have to act like they're big.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Guys, great chat. Sorry, I have to go, but I appreciate the chance to join the group here and
I appreciate
share
our
our ideas.
Explanation for sure, man.
No problem. Anytime. Take care, everyone.
All right,
Have a good one, Rand.
Take care.
Bye.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because you know you can tell just by the 5 people that were on the panel, even we can't agree whether it's a good thing or whether it's a bad thing or whether it's necessarily the best way they could have addressed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I still think the big dark horse is going to be people don't like change.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people left when the refactor happened because people don't like change.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going to get the exact same percentage. Why wouldn't we?
We'll have a much higher percentage, I think, on this because PvE affects everybody. There was people give a flying fuck about the PvP refactor because they don't PvP at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree. We're going to lose some. We're going to. No, we are.
Yeah, Carl in chat just says he thinks Wrong Thinker is explaining things exactly how he intends to, so that we think we are getting one thing, but in reality we are getting something completely different. There may be merit to that.
Yeah, for sure. It's just
So yeah, I don't know. But
the thing that they need to do, like, is for them to be able to explain it, they're going to have to, like, straight up come out and say, look, we made a mistake. You know, there was jumps that we made through the years that were way too much. And, you know, sorry, we did it to ourselves and we did it to y'all. They're going to have to admit to us.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying that they need to, you know, at least explain or admit their faults in this one, because it wouldn't be happening if there wasn't one. So
I honestly think people would be much more receptive to just a nerf of all the percentages on armors and defenses and everything across the board and to stick with the system that we're used to. I honestly think people would be much more receptive to that than what they're going to be changing the entire game.
yeah.
And that just might be me, but I personally, I for sure would be much more receptive to that because that's something I've experienced with in other games, even like, you know, like World of Warcraft, you know, that was something they went back and when the one expansion came out, they went back and kind of did a hard reset and nerfed a bunch of older gear. And then the new gear that you got started out with low numbers again, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to actually have to cut it off myself. I had a company just arrived, so.
All right. Well, I guess we're pulling the plug on this one then, since everybody's leaving.
Okay.
All right.
I'll put the link for the hangout over in the side chat if anybody wants to jump on for the after show. As always, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us. We always appreciate you in chat. Give us a like, a subscribe. If you haven't already sent your friends to the page yet, shame on you. Do so now. And we will talk to you on Saturday, where we will probably talk about this whole Wrong Thinker thing a whole lot more. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you then. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good weekend.